In the heart of Africa, during the late 19th and early 20th centuries, King Leopold II of Belgium ruled over the Congo Free State with unmatched cruelty. Unlike other European powers that colonized Africa for their empires, Leopold privately owned Congo as his personal property, turning it into a brutal slave state where millions suffered and died. Leopold convinced the world that his rule over Congo was a humanitarian mission, claiming he was there to civilize the people and end the Arab slave trade. However, the reality was far more sinister. His true goal was exploiting Congo's vast natural resources, especially rubber and ivory, to fill his own pockets. Through forced labor, villages were raided, families torn apart, and men, women, and children enslaved to meet the rubber quotas. If they failed, they were subjected to horrific punishments, including the cutting off of hands as a warning to others. Under Leopold's command, his private army, the force publique, enforced brutal laws. They would invade villages, take hostages, and execute those who resisted. Women and children were held captive until the men met their quotas of rubber. To prove they weren't wasting bullets, soldiers were ordered to cut off the hands of those they killed. This led to an unspeakable horror: thousands of severed hands piled as proof of their massacres. Historians estimate that over 10 million Congolese people died from execution, starvation, and disease as a direct result of Leopold's rule. The Congo Free State became one of the most blood-stained territories in history. For years, Leopold's crimes remained hidden. He silenced critics, bribed politicians, and controlled the media. But in the early 1900s, brave missionaries, journalists, and human rights activists, including Joseph Conrad, who wrote Heart of Darkness, and British diplomat Roger Casement, exposed the truth. Leopold was finally forced to relinquish control of Congo in 1908, handing it over to Belgium. But the damage was done: millions were dead, and the country was left in ruins. Even today, the ghost of Leopold's terror haunts Congo. His ruthless exploitation laid the foundation for decades of instability, corruption, and conflict. While Belgium later acknowledged some of his crimes, Leopold II himself was never punished. Instead, he died in wealth and luxury, leaving behind a dark and bloody legacy. The atrocities of King Leopold II serve as a reminder of the brutality of colonialism and the cost of greed. The scars left by his rule are still felt today, and the story of Congo's suffering must never be forgotten. If you found this story shocking, share it to spread awareness.